She was a person out of a 40s film noir movie.
With a life full of mystery to match.
She was a stunner physically. She was able to say jump, and the men would say how high.
Married to a wealthy lawyer.
He always said, she has this hold over me.
But there was someone she seemed even closer to.
They bought matching underwear together.
They shared everything.
They're eating together, they're sleeping in the same bed together, she's living at her house.
Did they also share a deadly secret?
It was a love triangle, and one of them had to go.
But was it her idea?
Oh, God. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but oh, my God.
Or hers? And who would take the fall for evil?
How deep a hole did you dig? Not deep enough, obviously.
Poison.
Hello and welcome to Dateline on ID. I'm Lester Holt. Any parent will tell you 2 kids together can get into much more trouble than 1 alone. That same rule seems to apply to adults as well. Any one of us might be strong enough to resist temptation on our own, but too weak to resist a friend. The question is, did 2 friends together give in to the temptation to commit murder? Here's Keith Morrison.
It was September 11, 2001. Just about everybody knows where they were that awful day. Like the glamorous trio that was traveling north through California's Yosemite National Park. Even as the rest of the world's attention was focused on New York City, they were intent on their own urgent needs, their desires, their fears, their deadly love triangle. So they probably didn't appreciate the passing wonders, the astonishing cliffs, the waterfalls, the giant sequoias, any more than the one in the back seat, through fading eyes, saw anything at all. Here is one of them. His name was Larry McNabney, and he was a tall, handsome man, a well-known and respected attorney from Nevada. A personal injury specialist, made buckets of money, loved the big life, loved being in control.
There was never a hair out of place. There wasn't dust on his desk. His pen was always in the same spot.
Larry's daughter, Tavia, was crazy about him, in awe of his type A personality, his joy of life, his courtroom presence.
I loved to go to the courtroom and watch my dad. It was mesmerizing to me.
In command
of
the place.
Completely confident, not an ounce of shyness. He commanded the courtroom.
I've been a trial lawyer for over 20 years.
A good attorney and, perhaps as important, very good at the business of law. Larry's longtime friend, Fred Atchison.
He could open 50 files a month in personal injury litigation, which made him a rich man.
But nobody's perfect, of course. And for all of Larry's unquestioned talents, the man carried around with him a raft of corresponding demons.
I know he had a difficult childhood, and that a lot of your personality is shaped when you're a child.
And as an adult, Larry struggled with alcohol and women. He married and divorced several times.
It was like a void he was trying to fill, and he never could fill it.
In fact, from time to time, Larry had gone on benders and just vanished, weeks at a time. And everybody would worry and wonder, and sure enough, he'd show up again.
I had a T-shirt made up once, yellow with black letters saying, "Where is Larry McNabney?"
But then, finally, Larry, well into his 40s, seemed to get his act together for real. He set up a new office in Las Vegas. Everything clicked, possibly for an attractive reason, as Tavia discovered.
I went by the office one day, and he said, "I have someone I want you to meet." He said, "This is Elisa."
Elisa, 17 years younger than Larry, and he was in love.
And he said, "She's just fun and vivacious, and she's young, and it's just, we have a good time."
Tavia didn't stand in the way. She wanted her dad to be happy.
And we welcome the new person in. It's my dad, so I didn't want anything that would inhibit me from spending time with him.
And he really cared for this woman.
He did.
Larry and Elisa thrived, both personally and professionally. They got married. Elisa became his office manager. They opened up a firm in Sacramento, California, another big success. So they hired a young, attractive college student named Sarah Dutra, the outgoing daughter of deeply religious parents, who soon became a friend as well as a sort of personal and office assistant. And together, Elisa and Larry enjoyed the high life.
She was into the same thing that Larry loved, and style. And they went out and bought Viper cars together.
They also shared Larry's newest passion, quarter horses.
Larry would show horses and show himself, which fit in with Larry looking good and feeling good.
Larry could do more of what he liked, while young Sarah pitched in to help Elisa run the business end of Larry's law practice. Just about perfect. Though Larry's friend Fred was a bit of a stick in the mud about it.
The fact that she took control of his business allowed him to engage in drinking and partying.
Which is not really what Larry needed.
No, he didn't need that, because his appetites would run amok.
So when, after nearly 7 years of marriage, Larry suddenly dropped out of sight, close friends weren't extremely alarmed at first. After all, Larry had gone on drunken benders before. But this time, as days stretched into weeks, it seemed different, extremely odd. Ginger Miller started working at the law firm as a secretary in September 2001, just about the time Larry went missing. Elisa kept the business going in his absence, but couldn't seem to settle on what the staff should tell people about Larry.
I was told to tell his kids and different people in his family different things. So I was told that he was golfing or skiing, someplace they probably couldn't get a hold of him at.
So it was all obvious BS.
Yeah, because, and then if it was a client, I would have to say that he was working on the deposition, he was with another client, he had to fly out.
Larry's kids didn't know what to think.
And I said to my brother, this doesn't sound right. Why do the stories keep changing?
October arrived, still no Larry. Thanksgiving. In December, he was always with family on his birthday. But still no sign of Larry McNabney.
I didn't get a good feeling. And what I worried about was, had something gone wrong and Dad was scared and he took off?
Had Larry offended the wrong person? Tavia had a friend in law enforcement who told her,
you have to look at it two ways. Either if he's in hiding, he's not going to be happy you found him, because obviously he's hiding for a reason, or something's happened to him.
Meanwhile, back at the office, Ginger was hearing things, worrisome things, until she just couldn't keep it in anymore.
I went to the sheriff's department. I wasn't sure what to do, so I just asked for a piece of paper, and I slid it under the window.
Detectives got her note all right, and thus figured they should have a chat with Elisa McNabney. But by the time they went looking for her, just like Larry, she was gone.
Coming up, filling in the missing pieces about the mysterious and now missing Elisa.
She was a person out of a 40s film noir movie. She was a stunner physically, but more importantly, she had a control over men that just amazed me.
When Poison continues.